Is Dak closer to being undervalued or overvalued?
Overvalued if I have to pick. I think he's actually valued pretty accurately, but if I have to go between over and under, I'll take over. I think that's because we could all recognize from preseason of his first season, of his rookie year, whoa, this guy's got something. He's a natural leader, and then you can see him also have all the tools to make plays, even if he sometimes leaves bigger plays on the field. And you can see his trajectory is going in the right direction. So we look at him as though he's already there, but he's not. He's not yet like a top 5 quarterback, but he's about to be paid like one in his next deal, because if he gets franchised and doesn't hold out and then does a long-term deal, he's likely to be, for at least for a little while, the highest paid quarterback in football, but he's not the best. And I realize that's the way it works. It worked that way for Carson Wentz. It worked that way for Jared Goff. Dak fans who say, well, why shouldn't it work that way for Dak? You're right. It should. He's in that group somewhere. But my point is the Eagles are struggling because they paid Wentz. The Rams are struggling because they paid Goff. The Cowboys want to struggle. They should pay Dak like one of those guys. So I think the general feeling is he's already an elite quarterback, when in fact what's to be excited about in terms of Dak is that he looks like he's on his way to being there. There's no guarantee that he gets there.
Before I go into my little soliloquy, Damien Woody, what's up, man? You don't know how to say hello? I mean, you just say hello to Molly. You ain't say hello to your boy? I mean, what's up with that? What's up?
Listen, let me tell you something, okay?
Say good morning, man.
Molly ain't even
say good morning.
To even say anything. She went into the topic. But what I'm not going to have is you jumping off of my grill first thing this morning.
I'm just saying.
I'm not going to have that.
You say good morning when you come on this show, and you speak properly and respectfully. That's what you do.
You're not going to be trying to get on me, bro.
I'm just telling you, next time you come on this show, you say hello and good morning first before you speak. And
I would like to defend myself.
Not just Molly.
What's beef?
We're dealing with unusual circumstances here, all being in different studios. So I was just trying to get right to the topic to make it smooth. I would never be rude to you, Damien.
I heard him say hello.
He's trying to look all serious. He's trying to look all serious, talking all loud like that's supposed to intimidate me.
Yeah, you need to be intimidated. I'm just going to let you know. But let me get to my point about Dak Prescott. Let me tell you something right now, right? Listen, Dak Prescott is being undervalued for one reason and one reason only. It's not a long-term deal. It's not even about the money to me. All right, 31, 33, 35. The reason I have a problem with the Cowboys is because I personally believe that if this were Tony Romo under the same circumstances, he'd have had a deal. Period. 4 years, not missed a single game, back page story when the man missed a practice, and we got to take into account what we're asking of quarterbacks in the modern era. It's not just about you flinging the football. It's also about the fact that you are a leader. You're accountable, you're reliable, and you are an extension of ownership. And we all know what Dak Prescott has meant to the Dallas Cowboys over the last few years, not just on the field, but off the field in regards to Kaepernick, in regards to Ezekiel Elliott, because he didn't create problems that Ezekiel Elliott presented to you. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes into it, not to mention the fact that you just acknowledged, Max, the trajectory is going upwards. He's only 26 years of age. You see all of that. If this were Tony Romo, Stephen Jones, and Jerry Jones, my buddy, still my buddy, but if it was Tony Romo, they'd have had a deal done. That's my issue with the Dallas Cowboys in terms of franchise tagging them. I don't give a damn how much money you pay him. As long as you're committed to just 1 year, you are messing him over. He deserves a long-term deal, and I'm not going to be satisfied until I see him get it.
Well, listen, Stephen, I agree that Dak deserves a long-term deal. Everything that the Cowboys have asked of Dak Prescott, he's done. I think, but I'm going to take the over simply because when you look at Dak Prescott, he comes in, 4th-round draft pick. The Dallas Cowboys have done everything imaginable, okay, to help Dak Prescott in his development. Okay, they've added offensive line. They got the running back. They traded for a #1 wide receiver in Amari Cooper. And this past year, he had his best statistical year in his whole career. But the problem is, Stephen A., he only won one game against a winning opponent. One game. Okay, to me, when I look at quarterbacks, if I'm paying a quarterback the type of money that we're talking about, the Russell Wilson type money, because I believe that's the type of money he's asking for, and he should be asking for because he's trying to reset the market. When are you going to see him elevate the team? And I think that's what the Cowboys have some reservation about giving him a long-term deal because they don't view him in that manner as a Russell Wilson or, quarterbacks of that caliber. When I see Dak Prescott really elevate the Dallas Cowboys, put them on his shoulders, then I think, to me, that's why I think it's over right now. Now, Stephen A., let me say one other thing. Let me say one other thing. I think another thing that's baked into this is coaching as well. I want to see Dak Prescott with Mike McCarthy because I think we all can agree that Mike McCarthy is a better coach than Jason Garrett. So I want to see what he looks like with a Super Bowl winning head coach.
But that's where the hole in your argument comes from, Damien, because you never mentioned that previously. You said that they gave him everything. They didn't give him everything. They gave him a coach that was subpar at best, as far as I'm concerned. And not only that, you gave him a rookie offensive coordinator in Kellerman. So I'm saying to you, you didn't give him everything that he needed. A matter of fact, the most important thing, people who are calling the plays and people who are his bosses, you didn't have the right people in place for him. You might have it now in McCarthy, but you didn't have that.
That's why the franchise tag, Stephen A. That's why. The Cowboys, Damien, you're 100% right. How much more do you need? And you can't make the playoffs in the worst division ever, right? With an Eagles team that was struggling because they were terrible. Carson Wentz looked good-ish against the worst teams in the world toward the end of the season. You can't make the playoffs under those circumstances. Like, that's the truth.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.